Radiant team, ban. Radiant team pick. Dire team pick.
Wind Ranger at your service.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Choose your hero. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
You're not going anywhere.
Thank you, Shiva. Yes, this should be a great way to start the final day of the WePlay Minor, right? We've got Geekfam, we've got Team NIGMA, and boy, we've got some interesting picks, Kyle. We have NIGMA coming in, start the day, saying, sweetheart, back on your Wind Ranger. That's how we want to start this one off.
It's like they tested the waters, you know, experimented a bit, and realized, you know what, let's just go back to what we were doing a few months ago. That worked, let's keep it up. And they even pick up the Necrophoses. The style they like putting him on so that Miracle's free to play whatever carry his heart desires. In this case, it's Capsa PL. One of the best carries here so far.
Was of course, you know, the PL as well. It was picked rather early, right? Which is fine. As you say, it's strong. Do you think Geekfam's done the right thing in response to it?
Yes and no. The problem is they don't. But I like having a hero that deals physical damage that eventually itemizes to kill illusions, like Ember Spirit as an example. I'm always a bit concerned, especially when you consider there's an ET in the game as well, along with the Abaddon. He'll have high survivability. You're going to have no armor on these Geekfam heroes. It'll be just Timber, and the way NIGMA are going to play this game is to go away from him and always have the Scythe if needed once you get to those 5-on-5s from the Necro. It's dicey.
We'll see. Have a bit of a skirmish to start things off, at least. Well, Geekfam just ensuring that they can secure this boundary. Actually, Kura's going to come across. They're going to try and fight for this mind control. We'll be able to pick it up before they can get their hands on it. Weeha's also started off getting involved with this fight up top. They're looking for the first onto.
First blood. The Wind Ranger gets there first.
Certainly say finally someone picks Elder Titan. It's one of his favorite heroes, and I also agree that it might be low-key broken, especially in a patch where everybody's got a billion HP. Remove all their magical and physical armor later on in the game is incredibly useful, especially when you have a hero with crazy high magic damage like Necro.
Not yours.
We'll see with the lane. A hero that's going to be able to sort of sustain any sort of harassment from the Weeha Wind Ranger, unlikely to end up feeding in that situation. The bottom lane, Miracle backed up by GH. It's going to look to run down Zephyr, and as you say, no, GH already just punching hard and pushing Zephyr all the way back. One more hit will do it. GH, he's allied. He needed a second hit. The one alone was not enough, but still, you're seeing that. You've got to respect this man and his stapler.
Yeah, he's got naked brown boots, and he still forces two heroes out of lane just by, as you said, big stapler punches. Top lane not going to be super easy either for Geekfam. Is that there's very limited damage output. It's a lot on the Slark and the Timber to actually carry them throughout this game, and they also don't really have any natural methods of pushing towers. Jesus.
I mean, they're just not prepared for the Elder Titan. You know, Zephyr, he's dying under tower to it. That's how strong GH is showing it off to be at the moment.
Nah, I don't know what you're supposed to do about that. He's got 110 damage. He's level 1.
Very impressive opening there to that bottom lane. Thanks to GH's presence. Should do a good job of securing Miracle some space for farms. Raven also getting space up top, though. The mid lane matchup, Carl, he's doing an excellent job.
Double damage. Could be worse. Oh, wait, no, it couldn't. What's gonna happen?
Radiant's courier has been slain! Oh, little courier! Dire structures are fortified! Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is taking a drubbing. To my house.
My thrift rewarded. That should help.
Merge with the sand. Illusion. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Here, Radiant's been fortified. No, mate, don't waste your time. Radiant's middle tower is taking a drubbing.
Denied.
Его первые 4 крипстата, 3 героя Geekfam тап.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is taking a drubbing.
Could be worse. Oh, wait, no, it couldn't.
Dire's fortified, I see. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Dominating.
Radiant's
Double
bottom tower is
kill.
under attack. Radiant's middle tower is taking a drubbing. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Every coin helps. Haste!
Radiant's been fortificated. Don't waste your time.
That should help.
The Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Boy, Radiant's bottom tower is fallen. The prodigal hero returns. Yeah, I didn't know that. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's true. Well, sharing feet ain't gonna be a problem now. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant structures, they're fortified. Radiant's top tower has fallen. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Repent.
You're bound.
Shackled.
Mega
kill.
The Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is taking a drubbing.
My thrift rewarded. A healing hand.
Killing spree.
Radiant's middle tower is taking a drubbing. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Run, 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 run.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. The Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant forts have been fortified. But the Dire's top tower is under attack. Boy, Radiant's bottom tower is fallen.
Oh, Mark!
You left.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is taking a drubbing. Look, the Dire's top tower is under attack. Oh, look, Dire's fortified, I see.
Come out.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Illusion. dead. That should help.
You're not going anywhere.
Hand of God. Fire's courier has been slain. Oh, why'd they have to go and do that?
I get to win.
Cold wind blows.
Jump, 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 jump.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Double damage. Dire's bottom
Goes to the
tower
shackle. He's
is
missed 3
under
or 4
attack.
on him already so far because he's very aware of what's happening. And you know, Miracle, he's top net worth. You got to be confident as a NIGMA fan if you see that. Not the typical Miracle hero matchup. Usually he's getting this last pick hero. This time they open with his hero, and you're hard countered by Timber, by Sand King. Your illusion's never really going to become that force to be reckoned with. We've seen so often in this WePlay minor. You have GH though, that's the X factor. I love this hero. Okay.
Well, here we have the situation to talk about. They can shackle into burning his mana. Hand of God's pass. It's not going to serve them. They get it. Carl's dead. Now Geekfam, they've got to try and punish this. They've just lost their biggest hero. What can they get in return? Weehaw They get anything more? Miracle a little too far away for Raven to catch up. And in fact, Raven having a bit of an issue there with the illusion, starting to lose his own mana. Another Spirit Lance thrown out. NIGMA, they still want to fight this. They're burning Raven's mana down low. Jumping for Cuckoo's there with the backup. They're going to turn, look towards Miracle, but it splitters out for GH. BKB's pop. Raven takes a lot of damage though, and his mana's gone. Pot's Shadow Dance has to retreat. Can NIGMA chase any further? Cuckoo and Raven very low in the mana pool. So hard for them to respond, but they will get away in the tree lines, blink out. They'll stay safe, just a 1-for-1 between the mid laners. But of course, for a team that's behind, NIGMA's going to be very happy with that.
Oh, for sure. And the support duo is starting to look real strong. Not the greatest in terms of actually getting things done in the early game, but a bad in ET. You're one of the best defensive heroes in Dota 2, and one of the greatest offensive supports as well. ET, once you get to that maxed out aura, all of a sudden Slark's base armor disappears. And you start to slaughter him with this PL. He's got the Manta online, starting to look real tanky. Once he grabs a heart, don't believe that just a chakra will be enough to take out these illusions.
As the build's being done, Weeheart. MKB complete still, very much faster than the average. It's going for that rush, so as well as hero damage as shown by Gosu AI. It is high, and it's exactly what's necessary. He has to get these kills. He's got to be involved in bringing down these cores before it's too late. And they're beginning to stabilize the match a little bit, NIGMA. It has been this 5k lead for Geekfam, but it's been that for quite some time now. As NIGMA are starting to respond and starting to get together to some sort of strength themselves.
You're going to start to see one of the issues with the lineup in that the Sand King, Rubik, Chen all do not scale nearly as well as their counterpoints on. In addition, Sand King specifically, you just start to fall off hard. Necro suddenly overtaking him by 1,000 gold in the net worth department, and Mind Control is going to scale hard as this hero, and it's also the late game answer to this Timber Saw. And they can just continue to buy time. NIGMA's got to like their chances here. We're approaching 30 minutes. One of the slowest games so far at this tournament. Only 12 to 11. Typically, we'd see at least 30, 40 kills.
But the Dire's top tower is under
Definitely
attack. Dire's
has to,
fortified.
you know, you've got to feel that Geekfam, they're probably feeling the pressure a little bit. They were riding some brilliant momentum for the first 20 minutes or so. Now it's slowing down a little bit for them as NIGMA. They'll get the tier 1 towers on. Shackles there, latching the two of them, Carl and Cuckoo together. Just try the illusion, start to burn some mana. They're backing away. Weeheart's already out with the TP. Does not want to stick around for the fight here. Can Geekfam punish any of the members left behind? They've got the vision onto Mind Control in the trees, set up with the Power Strike. He's trying to come over on the abandoned Kuro to help out, but Mind Control, he's already dead and gone. Kuro, I don't think he can escape this. They have to in on top of them. They go. Geekfam, they'll get the two of them. A failed retreat from NIGMA cost them 2 lives.
I was about to start praising NIGMA for the way they pushed and pulled. You know, you don't want to take that fight as Geekfam if NIGMA formed this concentrated ball, but then Mind Control just takes the wrong left and runs up. Kuro forced out of position to try and help him out. The rest of the team was safe. I'm no idea why he went up there. There's not as if hiding the trees is ever going to save you. You're against a Timber Saw. Rubik with a shackle shot is not where you want to be.
Top tower is under attack.
Still, you know, despite the farm starting to catch up on the cores of NIGMA, the level difference is very much apparent on the cores. You know, the levels for the cores of Geekfam, 19, 19, 17. Over on the side of NIGMA, 19, 16, 15. Miracle's still there at the top, but Weeheart and Mind Control, they just haven't been able to get the space. The only moves and plays they've been able to make are as that as a unit. They cannot fly alone because they're so vulnerable to the jump and catch of Geekfam.
Yep. You do always have the Wind Ranger, though. It's a deceptively powerful net worth because you're really just single target damage, as we in this game. You don't need many items to be able to kill somebody. Usually just the MKB and the BKB to allow you to just chase after someone, most likely Cuckoo. You're going to be able to kill him by yourself in the span of 5 to 10 seconds, like this move from Geekfam. Immediately into the Roche. Radiant, you're going to scan it out, but I don't think you're going to make it in time.
Maybe. Tower is under
If they can get a set for GH, not quite able to do so in time. Geekfam will claim it. Aegis go in the way of Raven. And of course now queuing up the Aghanims. He's about halfway towards it in gold.
Just not sure at what point this Geekfam lineup is strong enough to go high ground. They've maintained this 6,000 or so gold lead for the last 10 to 15 minutes, but it's not growing. And as we discussed, like this, the 3, 4, 5 positions, I'm not as concerned with the core matchups because I feel like NIGMA's supports, they're just going to scale so well throughout this game, whereas Rubik Chen, they're just not going to provide too much here. And again, Cuckoo Sankin, you've got a Veil, you'll be tanky, you'll be durable, but outside of a stun, you're not offering much in an engagement.
Tom Control trying to have a poke around that outpost. He has got back up in the area. Still Carl, very hard for NIGMA to really make a play on the Timber. They still have to sort of ignore him unless he massively overextends. We'll see what they can do with the 4 of them in this area. Weeha, money pretty much there for his BKB to be completed, and no lockdown, of course, from Geekfam through that Magic community, so we can pop the focus fire, the BKB, and confidently take one of these heroes down from 100 to 0.
Who cares if Wee's only got that second item? He's got 2 free ones thanks to Ice Frog, the Grove Bow and the Enchanted Quiver. So even though his net worth is not looking so hot, he's still got a nearly max capacity inventory.
Yeah, that's true. Both of those synergize very nicely. Yeah. Having that, reduced magic resistance on the target, and then the magic procs from the quiver, from the MKB, it all adds up.
Yeah, and then you have a ET with a Kraken Cloak and a Dragon Spell.
Yeah, and the ET bringing the magic resistance down even more.
Exactly.
So, you are going to see these heroes melt. BKB and a focus fire, most heroes will die to Weeha and GH being in the neighborhood.
And there's not much lockdown on Geekfam, or there is, but it's all removable by Kuro. They'll easily be able to shield off whoever gets jumped on. And outside of the Sand King Rubik stuns, like there really isn't much left. You want to continue to steal Shackle if you can on the Rubik. It's done a good job so far. Zephyr has, but starting to get antsy. I feel it. This is a position NIGMA's been in how many times throughout their careers? TI 7, 8, 9. This is the style they like to employ. Miracle top of the net worth charts, play around him. 4 supporting heroes that all scale quite well. Strong itemization to bolster their team fighting.
Time for the smoke move from NIGMA. See who they're able to catch. DD Rune is looking appealing, and it looks appealing for Raven. Raven jumps forward, the shackle won't connect. Raven immediately pops the Shattered Arch, looks to turn. Weeha's caught on the front. The shield will save him. Kuro, give away on the front to put the BKB. The full guard will still there on Raven. So Raven will be shot down the once. They took the edges away. Reaper's side has to do the back immediately. Shackle shot again, won't quite latch. Raven's able to pounce out to safety. As Carl, he's trying to stay on top of Kuro. The flood fight starting to get split up. One more spell connect will finish on Kuro, but the shackle off the mic, back in the center of the stolen son. Down, he's dead for 75. As Zephyr makes the big kill happen, coming in hot. As they'll cut down Kuro, but that really was the big one. Able to grab that side steal out of Mind Control's toolkit and then slam it straight back down onto Weeha. And Geekfam even trying to poke a little further. Miracle will manage to doppelganger away, but some heads-up plays there from Geekfam that secure them this clear minute to get aggressive and not. They don't have to worry about any sort of mid defense.
Yeah, really nice engagement there, though. You can see, however, how threatened Raven is by this Weeha Wind Ranger. Even though he had BKB popped, he still the way goes down, and quirky interaction. He respawned after Aegis, and the Wind Ranger still has the buff of the ultimate, so he had to actually exit the fight. Luckily, his team was there to turn it around. And as you said, the stolen sight to finish it off. Final tier 2 will fall. NIGMA now only with their base towers left to defend.
Just when it was starting to seem that NIGMA were really able to hold on to the game and potentially look to begin to turn it around, Geekfam, they say no. A bad fight taken by NIGMA around that middle lane, deciding to go when, of course, the Aegis was still there. Always a bit of a bold call, and it does not pay off for them.
Yeah, it's actually NIGMA that might have some damage issues, at least for this phase of the game, just because it's a PL with all these counters up against it. You've got a Shiva's on the Timber. I'm sure Sand King and a get an armored talent.
Mind Control set up to Danny Sager. Trying to step forward over up a shield, but it's not soon enough. Mind Control will fall. As Weeha.
Nice, they stole the shield. It's huge.
He's trying to sort of turn and hit into Carl, but Carl can just not be dealt with right now. Power strike out into Miracle and his army of illusions. Miracle, he's got to run. He's got to be careful. The shield from Kuro helps him out. And Carl's now punching onto the tier 3 Geekfam, approaching the high ground. 30 seconds still without Mind Control. Twitter will be blown out. It's off the mark though. Carl easily able to juke it out. Doesn't even make any sort of connection on the Stubu's still got his army good to go to push in with. But on the fortification, Miracle, he's caught out by the pounce. Do they have to follow? Raven staying on top of him with the Shadow Dance. Another doppel will save him. Miracle can escape. But look at Carl just diving behind the tier 3s up to tier 4s, bullying NIGMA away from his defense.
Yeah, they have no magic damage, Owen. How do you kill him? He's got 52 plus armor.
They're slowly burning his mana. As now, just the mana left for a Timber Chain. Mind Control back in the game and does have Scythe. NIGMA, can they get a catch? He's on top of Dubu. Miracle, he's actually going straight past it. He's looking for the bigger one. Cuckoo will be the focus. Cuckoo holding on to the Burrow Strike down into the river. Miracle turns towards Dubu instead. Doppelganger's out. The illusions burn his mana. Dubu's stuck in the pit. Can Geekfam everyone else? Raven, he actually jumps in for this. He's got the BKB, bounces out, but he's got to run. Miracle, he's going to turn his attention back towards Carl and Cuckoo, but to make sure that they haven't got the mana to play around with. Another jump forward, Miracle looking towards the Sand King. The stun's there, the Scythe's out. Cuckoo's gone for 2 minutes. He does have buyback. He wants to get back and involved in this river fight that will continue to go on. Another pounce for Raven gets him over the wall of the Roche pit. He'll escape. This time NIGMA forcing Geekfam back. After Geekfam were getting incredibly aggressive there on that high ground, NIGMA are able to defend. They keep their tier 3 alive and they end up getting a hefty kill, taking Cuckoo out of the game for 2 minutes, in which he's probably not going to want to buy back, but they've got a lot of space around the map to start catching back up.
And you can see just how stuck they've been inside that base. They finally have picked up their final tier 3 item. Took a long time to be able to get a neutral camp in their coffers, and that's the kind of fight you want as a long, drawn-out war of attrition. Covers a lot of ground and territory. No one's going to get burdened down. Oh, Carl, hold up.
I guess he didn't think they were still around, as the Bloodstone Heal will not save him.
The reward.
I guess he expected them to go back, but I mean, with Sankey still dead, as we said, NIGMA was always going to stay out on the map.
Maybe you just felt indestructible, right? It's tempting. You've played this entire game just here. Sort of lulled himself to sleep, and it pays the price. That's a huge kill to build some towers.
They're going to get at least a tower or 2 here, NIGMA. 2 cores dead on Geekfam in a game that they've been holding the lead for the most part, but as you say, these towers are still there for the taking. This is free money on the map, so they can pick up and close the gap.
They still have win range also, and you could theoretically go up towards high ground, but nah, they're going to get the tier 2 instead. I gotta guess that they feel confident, right? We've discussed the late game edge that their 3, 4, 5 positions are going to give them. You're now equalizing the tower disparity, and you got to be feeling good if you're NIGMA. Love that choice. Kuro gets the Vlad just to help his team do a bit more damage. Next, he'll go for the Axe to ensure that nobody dies in the duration of staying epicenter. This is looking good. Keep them back against the wall, even though they're the ones with the lead. That butterfly on PL is legitimately indestructible now.
He is. Miracle is, you know, sort of throughout the chaos of the whole game, he's stayed at the top. He's made sure that his own game has not been hindered. He's 1-0-7. He's never joined a bad fight. And it's really paying off now in terms of the power that he brings. You know, Raven's still himself as the Slark. His game equally as clean. Yeah. You know, 5-0-5. I mean, both of these carries, some of the performances we've seen from them at this LAN, have, you know, they've just sort of been a step ahead of the position ones on many of the other squads.
And what's crazy is he went for a fighting build, right? He went hood into defusal. We've seen typically when PLs play this way, just rushing Manta, but he doesn't even have the hood anymore. He's still this farmed. Dubu's. Can he buy back? I don't think so.
I think it's still on cool. As Dubu, indeed, he is dead. No chance to get back in and out the rest of the team. Carl's going to start to push the back. The Stolen Shackle shot does come out with the shield from Kuro onto Miracle. Will keep him safe. Mind Control as well. The target that they want to jump on immediately. They do try for a bit of a move, but with the Shroud and the heal up, Mind Control's more than able to step back. Geekfam, they're still trying to chase this. Both supports now dead and gone. Raven pops the BKB in the shadow. That's the accident. Carl is dying to the focus fire. He still does not have buyback. He's dead for 90. He doesn't have the money. He's 1,200 gold short on the Timber Saw as they're really starting to slip up.
And you can see they're getting a little desperate. Sand King has a Radiance. Geekfam thought this game was going to end a hell of a lot faster. They had that second item BKB on the Slark. Timber getting the full pipe as his first item. Now you've got to go back for items that deal with the illusions, but it's too late. They're all going to have 3,000 plus health. And now you're going to have an Aegis on top of it. Miracle just riding the backs of his team. And pause.
We do. Bit of the old lag.
Oh god, what an impressive time for it though, as Roshan begins the death throes.
Well, what can they do? What can they do against this PL? We saw, you know, NIGMA, they picked it second up. That's the confidence they had, and that sort of confidence, you know, we're seeing it in the play. It's absolutely flawless showing so far from Miracle. And in a game where Geekfam, they had that momentum. As we say, it was like 25 minutes in. Geekfam had pretty much taken all the tier 1s, all the tier 2s, and lost nothing themselves. It felt like all the control, all the favorite, sort of momentum and the chance to close this game, it was going the way of Geekfam. But it seemed like they draft their lineup, it's just sort of ground to a halt. A few bad fights, and now starting to slip up, starting to make these mistakes where NIGMA's suddenly catching these kills, getting these freebies on their own. I mean, if you're Geekfam right now, you've got to seriously have a strong talk and think about how you're going to get this game back in your grasp.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, Owen. It felt, you know, you got to assume NIGMA was comfortable with the way that this game started, because we are too, right? Fans at home, you've seen this before. It almost felt like just scorched earth. Like, let our towers fall. Let's just retreat. Let's waste some time. Miracle, you keep farming. Eventually, we're going to get that opportunity. We're going to be able to turn this around, and suddenly we'll be the ones in control of the tempo. And I got to say, like, it's still not over by any means.
Oh, no.
Geekfam, they've got to find opening, and it's so difficult just thanks to that Abaddon. You have no cleanse mechanic on this dire side outside of Slark's ability to Dark Pact himself. But if Kuro's in the vicinity, who cares if you're lifted? Who cares if you're stunned? That hero will be able to survive. If it's we, he'll be able to pop the BKB. If it's anybody else, they'll use their spells, cooldowns, escape mechanics, and there's just no method of properly 5-on-5ing and getting an entry kill. And that's a huge edge. That's why we see Abaddon first picked in this game. Overall, we saw Omni Knight from RNG yesterday.
Yes, these two heroes.
Like, there's no real replacement to them.
No, I mean, sort of, well, the other hero that we sometimes have dabbled with has been like the Legion, but already it's just sort of night and day, right? How strong those heroes seem to be. You know, Omni and Abaddon are just still on that another level when you feel the need to have some sort of saving hero, which pretty much is, you know, 90% of the games do it too.
Yep.
I always want to have that backup.
I really love the itemization as well. They got the Solar Crest, the Vlads, the Pipe, a couple of Force Staffs, the NIGMA trademark. You'll never see them play a game without at least one of them, often two. So they obviously maintain their focus even through the slight delay. GH still waiting to reconnect.
And we have, of course, the meme admin there, just checking out the Twitch chat, making sure you're all behaving at home.
Probably not.
Almost certainly not.
Immortality.
But we wouldn't have it any other way. Come with the game. 40 minutes now. Geekfam, the numbers still in their favor in net worth, but the last kind of 10 minutes of play, it just felt pretty weak from them.
Yeah. It reminds me, there's some interview Seb gave, I think it was recent, about how he thinks that the net worth, that little button up top, was actually super detrimental to the community's understanding of the game, because to quote him, net worth means nothing. Timings are Dota. It's your ability to fight. What can you actually do with your advantage? Because if the answer is nothing, well, are you really ahead?
Up to the high ground they go. They do have the repair kit, so they got something to slow this down a little bit and help deal with the illusions. With that multi-shot coming out from the tower, but still, Miracle with the butterfly, the heart, the Aegis. Are you really killing him even just the once right now? And if the rest of the game has been anything to go by, the answer is no.
Fire's middle tower is fallen.
Clinical, take tier 3, retreat, grab the shrine, push out lanes. I like this maneuver. This is what you've got to do as Geekfam. Timber's going to TP to bottom. You've got the Chen to pull him back if needed. But for now, just try and get somebody out on the map to make things happen. But again, there's just no offensive item build. I was critical of Miracle for buying a hood. I feel like I've got to say the same about the way that these three cores on Geekfam have itemized. You rushed these fighting items, nothing that really helps you scale. We saw again from, I believe it was RNG as well, first item Maelstrom on a Slark against a PL. I thought, you know, maybe that would be something we'd see here, but Echo Saber right into BKB. Scotty, Maelstrom, a lot of survivability, but they're having major damage issues. As we discussed, you just can't kill anybody with Kuro nearby. You've got to change that if you're going to take this game.
It really does just get to the point where their answers to PL feel incredibly limited. They're having to sort of itemize in those unorthodox, sort of less than ideal ways, because they don't just straight up have the hero counters. At least it doesn't feel at least they have got AoE, but the Sand King, the Timber, that sort of damage, it is starting to scale down. It's just not stepping up at the same rate. The sort of the PL's power levels increasing with his heart, with his butterfly.
It's important to note, it's not that PL is nigh indestructible. It's what the team are built around him can do to keep him alive and to boost the damage output. Weeha, even though his net worth is still like he's last place in terms of all the cores in this game, but his damage output's still so high that he can threaten kills, which is something Geekfam can't really do right now. We saw even the Timbersaw had to run from him once the ult started getting channeled under the cover of his BKB.
And you said yourself, to pick the Wind Ranger to sort of just, it deletes a hero, right? It's more target. And that's exactly what NIGMA need. If Wind Ranger is able to take one hero out, suddenly NIGMA have the number advantages, and that's when a PL thrives, because you just do not have the resources to contain him as he constantly stays on top of you. If they just walk up, they're taking the racks in. As Geekfam, what can they do to slow this one down? Another repair gets popped.
It's just so ridiculous. He's tanking through the Radiance and the Sandstorm damage, and the rest of his team is just casually in the mid lane.
And Carl does come in to try and cut the creeps and put a stop to this push. And that will keep the rack safe for now. They are out of creeps for He's going to pay with his life, though. He does not have buyback. Again, dead for 100. Carl cannot be back for the defense. He still remains short of gold. He hasn't saved up.
You could just go for Throne here, perhaps. Like, look, Geekfam can't fight. The illusions alone are forcing them back into their fountain. Help me out, man. What do you do?
So, I mean, it's sort of looking back, it feels like this game may have ended for Geekfam, about 20 minutes ago. As NIGMA, they've built up this way, the draft. It was all about getting this point where the PL is untouchable. And now Raven is able to pass on the Shadow Dance. He's trying to come after Kuroki. Can he actually get anything out of this? He turns his attention towards the H. We are chasing him out. Shackles there. Cuckoo's gone. There's only the three of them that can try and hold. The full 5-man NIGMA still alive. NIGMA, they're just moving on to the tier 4s. They weren't stopped when they were taking the racks, and it's going to be so hard for them to be stopped when they're taking the tier 4s and the Ancient.
Trying their best. Oh, it's too little too late.
Everything has just fallen into place perfectly for NIGMA, despite Geekfam's seemingly great start to the match. It just was not great enough. The window for NIGMA to take this victory, despite being behind in gold and in map control and in towers, the majority of this game, it's all fallen back over to their side now. The two sets of racks are gone. Geekfam will live to see another day, but the way that the momentum's been for the majority of this game now, it's very hard to see a way out of this for Geekfam now.
Yeah, it's one of the big advantages this team has. The wealth of experience, the time they've spent together. NIGMA, we saw them yesterday play incredibly fast to the tournament. Same with their group stage match against Fighting Pandas with that Furion. They know how to crush a game, but they also know how to just take it slow, relax. Miracle didn't even hit a hero after the laning phase until about 30 minutes in. And they have no problem with that. They're very comfortable whatever style of Dota their draft forces them into. It takes some outposts, pretty critical lead. They've got 2 racks. Now just do the slow march down bottom. They're still a tier 1. I'm not sure the answer is. No buybacks available right now for Geekfam, and they're just doing a slow march of doom. I hear the Emperor's music playing now.
It really feels with
Visibility.
the position NIGMA's in now. They can sort of just A-click down the lanes as their draft. It's sort of the rock to Geekfam scissors. There's just no answer from Geekfam's heroes.
Yeah, here we go. 8K gold lead, but feels like the advantage is significantly more just based on the way the These here matchups play out as Geekfam forced inside their base. One final hold, one final fight.
Radiant's top
DD
tower is under
Miracle,
attack.
consumed Moonshot, a completed Abyssal Blade, level 26. And up they go again. Geekfam, they couldn't defend the mid racks, they couldn't defend the top racks. Is anything going to be different down bottom? It's Carl, steps forward, Miracle. They'll just turn straight towards him. Carl is trying his best to clean out the illusions, but he just cannot do so. He does not have the damage. As the tower's gone, Miracle's just going to hit the racks. Fam, they're running around. Oh no. A bit of a failed Jules into a Burrow Strike combo there, does nothing at all. Miracle back to focusing on the racks. Stomp out on Cuckoo, Weon comes in from the side. The Shackle's there, the Sound King's going to get taken down. The Burrow Strike off the Miracle. He's there. Cuckoo's dead without fire. Raven shouted us and pop, but he has to retreat. He just has nothing. He does not have the damage required to take down anyone during his BKB and Shadow Dance right now. This bottom racks, they will fall. As Geekfam
fallen.
thinking about what they're going to do for the next right now.
Still, Geekfam desperately trying to hang on, but there it is. Nothing to defend and no one found.
As NIGMA, a solid showing here in this game, and one that Geekfam, pushed them on. Geekfam's opening, like that it was all going to be going their way. They were hitting timings, they were playing very fast. But the fact of the matter was that NIGMA, you could tell that at the end of the day, with this draft, they had a solid plan to allow Miracle to carry the game with the back.
that was pretty unacceptable. And then he had another death a little later on into the mid game where he gets caught in the river. That was quite bad, I think, as well. But overall, it's just, you know, Geekfam, those sort of mistakes doing this war of attrition because their lineup was able to do many things, right? You know, I was talking to Brian, BSJ. Quite well, right?
Yes.
If you go into a lane as Phantom Lancer, you want to push out that lane as much as possible. Well, if there's a Timber Saw sitting there, you're not able to do that. A Slark, yeah, once you get Diffusal Blade, you're going to feel better about that matchup, but this was a Slark that was ahead of you because Geekfam actually put so much pressure in that top lane and shut down the Necrophos. And then, what was their last hero that they had? Sand King, right? Like, he doesn't want to be in lane against him either. So there was just a lot of map control that Geekfam were able to close out the map really nicely and made it so that really only Miracle was farming. At the end of the day, though, they didn't have the power to push that high ground, right? Like, who's hitting your high ground, and how do you do so quickly and safely against, like, you know, Timbersaw goes up there, but he's going to have his mana start burning out from a Diffusal Blade. There's, you know, he's matched up against Necrophos. Eventually, he's going to get low enough. He's going to get caught.
Yeah, we need to give Timbersaw back the damage talent, so he can't
the
push.
level 20, 100 damage.
I'm not even
agreed.
joking. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily
And now that Huskar is banned out, should you also be worried about the TA? Well, I can tell you,
And you lose the lane just because of the matchup.
So with that big.
Seconds remaining.
And then on top of that, in the laning phase, you stand toe-to-toe against the very few carries feel good about Scorched Earth Doom running at you. But Lifestealer, because Doom is a high HP hero with low armor, you're actually able to keep up your sustain really nicely. We saw that somewhere early in the tournament. I don't remember what game it was.
Dire team.
got a Huskar ban coming out. As well as the Weaver removed. Ooh, instant Weaver bat pick.
Weaver, huh?
Okay. I mean, it's good versus, like, as a laning phase matchup, it's good versus a Batten and Batrider.
There aren't many good heroes against the Batrider left in the pool. Like, there's still Lifestealer. Do you want to call Jug still a good hero just so that he can spin off the stage?
Oh, no.
Not really.
not even against in the perfect matchup am I down to see a Jug pick up, but it is traditionally one of the good ones. I would kind of like to wrap up and just like go Lifestealer and OD for NIGMA.
Yeah, I'm surprised OD is still in the pool.
A pretty good lineup to counter Doom. Obviously, we haven't seen anything else from Geekfam, but.
And now that Huskar is banned out, should you also be worried about the TA? If you're, well, both teams actually.
There's still Drow Ranger Venge in the pool if they want to shift towards that.
They're taking their time.
What's cool about this is that the Batrider can be a support and the Abaddon can both be a support. So it is still open enough that Geekfam probably needed the extra time.
Same goes for Earthshaker. So they have 3 heroes who can be played at multiple roles. Oh, wow.
That is
Okay, well,
that's a cuddle.
That is a combination of team fight and catch that Keeper of the Light gives you with his ball and stuff. Maybe it's a decent hero against Batrider in the way you want to play. I don't know.
Well, I can tell you that Miracle on his Ember Spirit has not lost a game this tournament yet.
Yeah.
5 seconds
So that'll be a tough one to deal with. How do you deal with an Ember Spirit? You've been talking about how good it is to have mobile heroes all across the map. Ember Spirit kind of embodies that a lot as well.
Let's go. And they go for that Lifestealer that we talked about. Not too many options left after the Batrider. Even if it's a position 5 Batrider, he can still cripple you and you lose the lane just because of the matchup. You don't necessarily need to play bad.
Can we have this as draft music like the whole time?
Get it. Kundalini.
10 seconds remaining.
Dude. Cuddle's got some serious drip going on. Do you see that? He's got like gold gauntlets.
He does. Shiny gold even.
I think he got all that gold in the previous patch where he was super popular.
Yeah. Where everybody was just rushing refresher. Remember that? Oh, that was a terrible time.
Are we liking the Keeper of the Light and the Lifestealer though?
Yeah, I mean, they needed something that can match up against the Batrider. It's also good whether they want to put Abaddon. He's going to have an okay time. Against Ember Spirit, they have an okay catch. Will-O-Wisp, Rubik's Lift, Doom. But we talked about the Fisher, the efficiency of it, especially if played around those small areas where you don't have enough space to
5
pass.
seconds. You're chatting this close.
I don't know if I'm
Radiant team pick.
I'm loving their lineup just because I don't
Dire
feel
team pick.
pike enough about the lockdown against the Ember. But they do have. Well, now you could still run side lane Ember Spirit, right?
Yeah.
And then a different mid. You can run. Who would you want to run here?
They banned out TA.
Yes.
It would fit their lineup so perfectly. Go for objectives. TA comes online fast.
Is OD not still in the pool? Like, just go OD.
5 seconds remaining.
Or is it not good?
I'm pretty sure OD is still in the pool. Yes. I don't know if it's good because this lineup runs at you quite a bit. I'm
They
not
can
sure
put
if
them
OD would
under.
come online quite fast enough.
Go Ags and just put everybody under. They can't run at you then. I don't know though.
What else can you run?
Should they be worried about having things to deal with the Will-O-Wisp, or is that fine? Like something with a higher attack speed?
Yeah, they don't have any high attack speed heroes at the moment. No natural BKB buyers. Ember does not want to buy it early on. There's always a better choice for him.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, most of the time when it comes to Will-O-Wisps, you ignore it and just get out of the field.
Just ignore it. That's it.
It's like it feels too detrimental to try and attack it because you're running further into the center of it
to try and stop it.
Yeah, so you're grouping up more and stuff like that. It's just most of the time you just like get me the hell out. And there are mobile enough heroes that they should be able to get out pretty quickly.
Oh, they go for the Wind Ranger.
at your service.
You guys are both quiet. Not
We're gonna see. I mean, we're gonna see the Wind Ranger and Lina matchup again. I just don't know, like, what is the? I was trying to decide, like, what is NIGMA's win condition in this matchup? If they needed to play it like faster or slower, just because Lifestealer is kind of weird. Because I don't think Lifestealer. I personally don't like Lifestealer 1. I like it a lot as a 2 position. I think it makes a much better use of your infest. So the Lina pickup, yeah, it's a faster hero. You have this mid matchup potentially against the Ember Spirit until the Wind Ranger got picked up. There was some good things about it, but I thought you wanted more of a harder carry. So for NIGMA, I don't think you had to worry about, once the Lina was picked up, I don't think you have to worry about trying to outscale this lineup too much, just because I don't have any faith in Lifestealer carrying games by himself. So
yeah, Lina is more of a utility. You can still switch the damage if you feel like Lifestealer is not having an okay time. But this mobility from Wind Ranger, I love it. Like, whether you're playing against a Lifestealer, you are forcing him to buy. I mean, yesterday we saw who was it? Setsu going for Maelstrom first item. So like, you have this ability to proc through evasion, and if she gets the Wind Run before the Doom, like that's really big.
Yeah.
It's hard matchup for Lifestealer, like against the focus fire, against the Wind Run at the early stages. So I'm loving the Wind Ranger.
I would feel better if they had Disruptor over Coddle on this side. Like the guaranteed catch. I'm just not sure if Will-O-Wisp is good enough for that. We'll see.
But you guys don't seem like confident that there's going to be a third game of the series.
I'm not confident. I just because, again, I don't really like Lifestealer so much. I think they have a decent number of answers to Doom as a core right now with the event pickup, and then you already pointed out the Wind Ranger. They've got Ember Spirit, who is fairly mobile. They don't have like a ton of instorm. Which Will-O-Wisp has a slight triggering time, right?
Which one person are we going to look at to see if Geekfam can make this a third game?
For me, I think Kuka really needs to go off on the Doom. He needs to be able to win his matchup, and then he needs to find those catches on the Ember Spirit if he can. That's a very sick kill. His initiation is going to be really important.
All right, all eyes on the Doom. Let's see if he can earn his credit back to be the first phase ban Doom that we've seen almost the entire tournament. Let's head over to OD Pixel and Kyle for game number 2.
Shiva, yes, this game 2, we're seeing some similarities some differences. Of course, the Wind Ranger is going to make another appearance. Did obviously end up working out for NIGMA in game 1. Other sort of changes up. Miracle, he's on another one that we've seen him perform time and time again on this LAN. He is back on the Ember Spirit. You got to be a little worried about your Geek Fam, or do you feel the Geek Fam this time, you know, they weren't able to draft the right way around a PL had they done it around an Ember?
It's a good start. I will say this is probably my favorite hero-player combination to witness, the Miracle Ember of Legend. My concern is that Lifestealer is really your only true carry on the side of Geek Fam, and Wind Ranger just pops the ult and runs at you. And I'm really concerned we're going to see a repeat of the previous game. Also love that NIGMA, they're effectively just copying their TI drafting style, which is if TA is in the pool, pick that, and if not, well, give we the Wind Ranger and let him go off. They obviously kind of fulfill the same role, and then they build the rest of the draft around that.
I mean, obviously in the past, you know, you've been a drafter. Do you like sort of seeing that being done in a team where you're looking at sort of what your players can play rather than what you want your players to play?
Yep, that's the hardest thing about Dota 2, specifically as a leader, is trying to find that balance behind what's good in the game and what's good for your team. And the best teams almost always seem to have a whole lot of overlap between those choices.
We'll see how these lanes are going to start off. Looks pretty standard. Cuckoo going to be there on the off lane, and he's going to have the backup with the Coddle against these two. See what sort of pressure they can put onto Miracle mid lane. A little bit of a nice block off from GH, allows them to get some punches in onto Carl, but Zephyr will be there with the backup to make sure that NIGMA don't get too aggressive onto the mid laner as of yet. Last time round we saw we have a bit of a slow start in the 1v1 against Carl's Timber. We'll see if anything's going to be a bit different this time round against the Lina.
We shall see. It's a relatively even matchup, but definitely have the potential to outskill your opponent. I will say I've loved Carl's Lina in the games that I've seen it. It's just, it's tough. I also, quick thing is that NIGMA have the ability to go double Lincolns later on in the game. The Doom is effective, of course, but both Ember and Wind Ranger have no problem picking those up. And it's typically seen as a counter to the Abaddon as well, but that's a hard 5. Not certain you'll want to use that on Kuro. Wow, I'm blind. Mind control's playing a bad. That's a core. All right, you can do him safely. You were just sitting there, not talking, waiting for me to realize.
No, I was
Thanks for leaving me out.
I wonder what sort of train of thought you were on there, Carl. We did find it eventually.
Yeah, back on.
But no, yeah, on the off lane. Of course, yeah, mind control, you know, definitely worth keeping an eye on him. Last game had a pretty slow start on his off lane. Necroforce mid lane. Zephyr, until we get in stun at the We Are Courier on the way back to base. GH just going to do his best to trade hits, but Zephyr knows. TP out, nothing there to stop it with the fish already blown. Courier down, slows down a little bit of We Are for at least a minute in that lane.
Another reason also why Abaddon's such a nice pick in this patch is that you can open with it. It's a solid 5, we just saw it. And as a 3, it's one of the best heroes to lane and play against Lifestealer. There's really nothing you can do about it. You shield off every open wounds, and you're going to be just fine. Excellent against the combo as well.
Oh, wow. Oh, there's a combo right there. We are GH. They'll slam down Carl out of the lane with that beautiful crossing at the power shot, and GH's big old Fisher.
Not bad at all. Top lane, Kuro and Miracle seem to always, at the very least, be trading in their safe lane, and they were dominant on that Lich Ember combination. Another Courier killed by Zephyr, that's 2.
There, he's doing the works there against the Course Couriers. Miracle and We Are having to suffer a little bit without them, each of those respective minute and a halves. Zephyr has been very, very mobile across the map. Overall, core farm pretty close this time round. I mean, again, it's Raven's gonna have that free farm down bottom. Be interested to see what sort of build he does go for the Lifestealer. I feel like we've seen what, like, Monet's Lifestealer over the last few days. He's opted for like the Maelstrom build as opposed to the Armlet builder. Mid lane, Carl. It didn't matter. It's, you know, we just wanted to have a bit of fun. He didn't intend to hit that power shot. He didn't need to.
No, he was aiming for the
kills. Yeah, there you go. Another killer. 2 times now in that mid lane where Carl has felt the wrath of We Are and GH teaming up together early on in this laning stage.
Mike Control's in some trouble, but they're going to lose a creep wave under tower if they don't walk back over. And yeah, no stun, so just TPs over to the wave. This is very dangerous to Lina now. The problem with the hero is that if you fall behind, it's similar to a lot of these squishier spellcaster mids, you know, Shadow Fiend is an example. You die a couple times, and all of a sudden, you don't really have the fortitude to stand in the lane, especially if Shaker remains off map, which GH has done a great job thus far of doing, and he's avoiding that bottom ward. They can't see his rotations if they come from the top side.
No, it's very scary for Carl, seeing how easy they can execute that gank on the mid lane Lina. He's got to play it very, very smart. Will try his best to nuke down the neutrals, look to catch up in levels and farm to Weehaw. Weehaw will hold that advantage for now.
Under attack.
A bit of a walk here from Mind Control through the jungle. Raven, best interest to head back to the wave. Doesn't want to waste time chasing this.
Going for some stacks. Looks like he'll get... Nice job. Very effective. When your Lina's behind, you can always look to try and cover in the jungle. Dubu ensuring that he'll have a better time of it. I think MC might know that there's a ward there.
I feel like he went up just to test that, yeah.
Spidey senses were tingling. They'll see GH on that topside ward moving towards mid, so Carl makes the wise decision to get out of dodge, start farming the woods.
So far looking at it, it will be, you know, another slow start on the offlane for Mind Control. Did have that occur in their first game, and that's definitely where the weakness seems to lie in these first opening 5 minutes. That's in his best to sort of draw, grab, pull, creep waves around, and now the wave will push in underneath his tower, so we'll have the opportunity to catch back up a little bit. Yeah, safe laners, both of them going entirely unpunished. Both Raven and Miracle off to an untouchable start. 40 and 12 on Raven, 38 and 13 on Miracle.
Also, Leicester does have some great matchups in this game, with the exception of the Abaddon. They're going to dive MC under tower. Don't know if this will be a kill.
Has Mind Control got anything else to pop out? They'll get it. Now we get in top lane. Cuckoo also feeling the wrath of the dual lane, so both off lane are suffering.
Yep, mirror matchup. I think it's a little more valuable for Geekfam though, because Lifestealer, especially in the mid game, you can almost ride to a victory if he stays far enough ahead. Want to see him get, I wouldn't mind the Maelstrom. I actually really like that item pickup. Looks like it will be an armlet first. Can agree with that. I just want to make sure he gets an acceleration item afterwards, whether that's Maelstrom or Radiance.
Getting an aggressive GH and Weehaw. They had to back up. In fact, he's been trapped perfectly. GH getting just the right position. It will get knocked back on Weehaw with the mischance applied by Dubu. So Weehaw not doing that much with the focus fire for now. And finally end the debuff, so he can now juke it out. Shackle shot set up onto Carl. One more power shot will finish the kill. Weehaw is able to claim the life of Carl. It is going to cost him his own though. The fairy fire is popped, but it won't save him. Geekfam do get the trade.
By Weehaw. Carl got caught there, just not using spells. If he pops off the Lagoon, it might be enough to save him. But Weehaw, really cool positioning, gets the shackle off to ensure the final arrow. And still a slight lead for Geekfam, but we saw this in the previous game. You're not really comfortable against NIGMA unless you've got at least a couple of racks. It feels like any smaller size lead doesn't really matter much against this lineup. And once again, I point to the disparity between the support's impact later on in this game. When you consider that you've got a Shaker Bat, right? Two of the best initiators and kill finders in Dota 2 against a Coddle and a Rubik. And yeah, there's going to be some turnaround potential. You can anti-gank, you'll have that big Coddle ultimate, but it's always a lot easier to just grab somebody and go.
Radiant's courier has been slain.
It's a slaughterhouse for these couriers, man. That's what, 3, 4?
Oh, he's got me all going over.
On top.
Oh.
Kuro trying to get the setup onto Cuckoo. GH is there with a block off, and Weehaw, he's got a DD, so they'll make short work of this. Shackle shot connects. The TP's coming in, but Cuckoo's already gone. The TP was complete. Zephyr's going to end up feeding his life as well. Double kill for Weehaw. NIGMA starting to make these moves, get those kills, and Geekfam, they're just not ready to respond to them.
Lena's the primary playmaker for Geekfam, but he's forced to recover. He's still in the jungle, had almost no game thanks to the nice rotations from GH, and it's so easy for them to find kills. They have Ember, Wind Ranger with the Shaker just hunting. It's so easy for them to execute. And look at this, Dubu, he'll be next to fall.
Yeah, this start, it's looking so hot for NIGMA. Weehaw 5-1-1 involved in 6 of the 7 kills here before the 9-minute mark. The setups, the moves have been perfect. Raven to get in underneath the tower there. He's going to be able to run away. There's no one around to snipe him, so Raven will be fine. But trying for the kill on mind control, wasn't able to do it. With mind control having the borrowed time as he hit 6. Yeah. This has got to be a worry, especially with the fact that NIGMA do have this Wind Ranger and Ember that can play aggressive. GH is found though, did come around and try again to set up something from the mid. They'll know straight away that water. They still trying for something. Miracle's going to show with Jackal's there as well as the power shot. Can they kill off Carl? We are moving in with the focus fire. Carl's trying to hide another slide of fist. Carl's dead once again, and with Kuro coming through, they could go for a second kill onto Dubu. A power shot setups there. We are dominating.
Love it. It's all about mobility. We've talked about that, the importance of it in the meta. And you have Ember, Wind Ranger, Shaker. There's just so much pace you can play with. Already 9 kills in 9 minutes. A hell of a lot hotter in this one than it was that previous game. They already matched their kill total from like 30 minutes in that game 1. And contested the bot valley.
Yeah, he's able to get in and grab that rune. He's going to go for the outpost. Raven. He's got nothing to stop him until the stuns, but he can't just kill him. He actually killed him. Like, GH, was the fish shot unavailable? It felt like he could have thrown it out to sort of buy mind control time and maybe block it off, but well, GH says, no, goodbye mind control, you're going to die today.
Oh, that's still value. I would trade my life for 100 XP, 150 XP to all my allies.
Oh yeah, sure.
Heartbeat.
They still get the one down there, and by the looks of it, we'll see if Kuro's able to take this. Cuckoo's obviously going to come across and try and make sure that the Kuro cannot grab the outpost, at least now. I mean, he's got a lot of napalm stacking up on him. He's taking quite a bit of damage, Cuckoo. As Kuro just alone as this lone support, stopping Cuckoo from being able to walk up and go for it right now. He's going to try for it. Kuro is definitely going to mess around with it. Does he want to pop the lasso to stop the channeling? No, he's going to let Cuckoo take it. Wants to save the lasso for when he knows he has backup and can go for a kill. Bottom, NIGMA, Raven, that's the big one. He's been uninterrupted this whole game. Now they've managed to move the action down to that bottom lane, and they're not only crushing top and mid, they're killing off the carry. Top lane, Geekfam 2 finally push Kuro out of the action, but it's NIGMA losing a support and Geekfam losing that all-important carry.
Yeah, that's why I love the Miracle Ember as well, because this is not he does not farm. He is not a passive player. He gets his levels and immediately starts moving around the map. He found kills top, then mid, now bottom. They're even going to be able to collect that tower, even with the last hit. Drums complete. And look at them to just keep it up. You've got every single hero, with the exception of Mind Control, has a ton to add to a gank. They keep playing in duos.
Dire's fortified, I see. Yeah, Radiant's been fortified. No, mate, don't waste your time. Radiant's middle tower is...
He's going to go for this solo. Steps up, drags back Dubu. Dubu has Cuckoo by his side. Kuro not quite enough control and damage to do it on his own.
I like that. He's got the purge creep on Doom, so he can dispel the napalm off himself or allies. Really nice heads-up thinking there by Cuckoo. Looks like Deso is going to be the choice from Raven. That old school Matumba man build seems fitting up in a game against NIGMA, but again, not going to help him farm as much as items like Midas, Maelstrom, Radiance. So should not, we won't see his net worth extrapolate too quick. Kuro in trouble, but TPs.
So the concern is here. Kuro does get taken out with the Dragon Slayer. GH is going to blow the air to try to set him onto Cuckoo, but GH is nuked down. It's a double. He can look towards Mind Control. Mind Control pops the borrowed time. Mind Control needs help. He has got Miracle. He commits with the remnants, bursts down Cuckoo. That's one got, but now Raven slows down Miracle. The remnants moving out very, very slow. In position, he reads the movement, has the catch with the light strike. Another slide. Cannot escape this as Carl killing spree. He kills all 3 of them there on the top lane. Geekfam. A beautiful move from them. Gets their Lina back up towards pole position.
That's a hell of a rotation from Carl. That arcane rune paying dividends. One of the reasons they didn't expect that many spells to come out of the Lina. Plus you have the cooldown reduction thanks to Dubu. Now the all-important level 10 talent. After the removal of experience gain boosters, I feel like damage talents are just by far the best right now. Lina gets 35 at level 10. All of a sudden he's back. And he's feeling good. Yeah, that's all you need sometimes as a mid player. You fall a little behind, sure, you got owned in lane, but 3 kills, 4 kills. Psh.
Yeah, that's entirely recovered it for Carl. Doesn't matter about those 4 deaths early on. He's basically back up to what We Are has. So We Are trying for this mid tower, backed up by GH and Kuroki. Cuckoo's going to step forward along with Zephyr, and NIGMA will back off.
That's looking good. Signs of life from Geekfam. They're certainly not out of this yet. I like the resolve. It'd be very easy, especially against a lineup as fast-paced as NIGMA, to just sort of falter. You've dropped one game and all of a sudden you're getting run over, but nope. They turn around with a timely rune and now they're going to group up, look to take this mid tower. Raven does have that armament, so he's very strong here. He is not looking to just isolate himself in the lane and continue racing.
So he is getting involved, pushing in on mid. Miracle goes to the setup on Cuckoo, knocked back there with a flame break. Montreal's trying to charge in with a light. He draws them back forward, and Raven, he's looking to commit. Kuro pokes the lasso, but it cannot kill Raven off in time. Raven's fine, steps off with the rage. NIGMA lose no one as of yet either. They do start to back off a little more damage than that of Geekfam. Geekfam being the stronger side here in the 5v5. The fortification comes out. Geekfam continue to stand their ground at this tier 1. See if they can find any setup. NIGMA GH trying for the angle. Official won't block them in. It blocks them out, so Geekfam can back off.
I love the way these teams approach team fights, specifically NIGMA. You can see they're just poking. They're trying to bait you into an engagement. They know that they're not going to win a fight if they just dive forwards, but they'll poke, they'll try and pull you in, lull you to sleep with a nice little lullaby, and all of a sudden they're going to pounce on you under tower. But they do defend the tier 1. This is expended. Doom down. Lasso still available now for the Rubik. Perhaps could find a pick off with that. But so far, so good for NIGMA. The mind control, crazy how farmed these two supports are. MC is actually bottom of the net worth charts right now on that Abaddon.
And with that lasso, definitely, that could be the sort of difference between not killing and catching the Ember and the Wind Ranger. Any sort of telekinesis into the lasso, plus the burst, or even the punch of Raven's Lifestealer, with the way that Raven's been getting so active and involved with the team, they can get these kills on the more elusive heroes of NIGMA.
Yep, and the concern, however, is that you're playing against a cleanse mechanic. NIGMA will always be able to remove disables, pull, and pray. Like, you can save allies easily. Geekfam, you've got counter initiation, but there's so much catch on the side of NIGMA. You're gonna get lassoed, you're gonna get dunked on, and sure, you can throw out a coddle ult, you can cast some spells, but there's nothing to actually save your ally, which gives NIGMA a huge advantage when it comes to finding kills and initiating fights, which most of the time is the key to winning them.
Back down to a bit more passiveness from these teams. Geekfam with the 2K lead off the back of those events.
Look at Miracle. And the Imp Claw feeling very good.
That's some nice finds for him.
Maelstrom next item as expected. Weeha looking to complete an MKB right off the bat, which is of course incredibly effective when you're against a coddle. You know that you're going to be blinded almost at all times, so why not make sure you can just get right on top of Raven and right click. Doom up, time to go.
Smoke on smoke. It's Cuckoo. He's going to look to try and start this. He's not going to drop the Doom as of now. Zephyr's going to be able to find the opening on it. GH dragged into the light strike. GH, he's gone. The lasso used to lock him down, make sure that nothing can come out from the Gaker. And Geekfam, Cuckoo's on top of Kuroki. Kuroki cannot escape. There's another blast. It's double kill for Carl. Geekfam, they're pulling out the plays, and it's their turn in here in game 2 to make NIGMA look like the broken side.
I think got an Aquila on that Lena Illinois. It's like the best item you can find on the hero. Helps with the push, the nice agility for the attack speed.
You see that with the stats, this incredibly fast Jules for Alina that died 4 times in the laning stage. That incredible move from Geekfam up by the top tier 1 tower that's allowed them to take control of this game. Dubu is falling. Power shot does take him out, as well as Zephyr's life. The supports are gone. NIGMA hit back. The cores of Geekfam, they're split up. You have down bottom Raven working on the bottom lane, up top Carl's working on the top. This isn't any sort of fight that Geekfam want to get interested in. They'll lose their tier 1 tower. They're just trying to focus on getting that extra item ahead on their key cores.
Yeah, they do have one advantage that NIGMA can't replicate, which is that Lifestealer Doom, very tanky, strength cores. You can just go in, run forwards, provide some vision and a safety blanket for your backline supports. NIGMA don't really have that luxury. Ember, Wind Ranger, a more elusive style, so you don't actually have a true frontliner. Sure, that could be MC, but you kind of want him waiting the wings to save an ally with the shield of a disable. And Geekfam still holding on, 11 to 13, approaching 20 minutes. We'll probably see some smoke moves for the outposts. Perhaps even right now, Abaddon finishing up the Vlads as Geekfam look to move towards top. They know that there's dire heroes in the area. Will they find anyone? Carl.
Miracle.
Your place is
He's going to poke. Zephyr. Go for the setup on mind control. They'll turn. Raven pops out, starts to work on mind control. Forces out the bar in time. Kuroki has looks come in with the lasso, but it's not enough control as Raven now can turn. Fight on forward. A Dragon Slave takes off the shield of mind control. Mind control has the speed to get away. Miracle's trying his best to help out Kuroki, but he cannot keep them off it. He's in
Double kill.
It's all turned round as GH out of nowhere jumps in and takes this game back under his own wing. NIGMA will equalize the difference that lead the Geekfam was starting to grow as GH makes that wonderful play with his blink.
Oh, wow. I mean, we talk about signature hero player combinations. We were raving about Miracle's Ember, but this is the GH Shaker. This is a big part of the reason they won TI7.
Let's have a look at that beauty again. GH, he's waiting. He's looking for that opportune jump to make. Geekfam are incredibly grouped up, and the important ones as well. There, the four of them. He's in immediately, getting the two. Raven did have the Rager, but obviously the two cores, Cuckoo and Carl, just wiped off the game.
You can see Zephyr, he had an idea of what was happening. He actually avoids the dunk, but took so much echo damage, he might as well have died. Would have if that power shot had been just a few yards to the right. Now talk about demoralizing, man. That is like, I hate jump scares, and I have almost jumped out of my seat at times when a shaker dunks on top of me, and especially in a pro match like this, facing elimination, all of a sudden expect Geekfam to play with a little more hesitation. That was not good. They take the lead 17-12. How many outposts did they get? Looks like it was a one-for-one trade.
Not quite there with the timing. Miracle able to dodge that. Done with the sleight of fist.
Yep, and look what's queued up. That's the Lincolns. The Doom counter. Expect we to grab one at a point as well. Maybe even GH. And if you can't Doom the Ember, how do you actually kill him here? They don't really have enough lockdown, especially when you consider he's gotten a Baden in support. Might find Dubu continuing to the right.
Midland Cuckoo. It's got Raven inside him. The easiest target to go on, and Mind Control does have We Are and GH by his side. Geekfam will play it smart. They know that they cannot commit for that. Meanwhile, top, the chase did continue. Miracle has got the chains in top. The damage, the Maelstrom procs will be enough. Dubu unable to TP out in time.
Love it. Agi treads, pop drums. I'm not sure if he did the math, or maybe he saw the Maelstrom procs, like, okay, I got him now, but that's a nice find, and now they're already smoked up looking for more, knowing it's 4-on-5.
There's the opening. Set up Fisher, knock him back into the shackle shot. Zipper, he's dead. Starting to see the pace being picked up by both sides. For now, NIGMA the ones with the edge.
Tower is under attack. Dyer's middle tower has been denied.
Playing with class, Owen.
Sweeping the map, making those moves.
And they're
no one's falling too far. You have all four of the carries in the mids, pretty much in the same area. It's just all about who starts these fights, and most importantly, for Geekfam at least, that they have to get these kills, or at least keep vision and control onto GH. They cannot allow GH to get away with blink slams like that again.
No, definitely not. Kuku's in trouble. He's got the blink out, should be fine, indeed he is. They're just hunting constantly, man.
Tower is under attack.
Smoke up, but Geekfam, you need an initiation, you need to engage. It's got to start with a Doom, but I'm not even sure who you're supposed to target with it at this point. It probably has to be mind control, but if you do that, how do you kill Miracle?
They're going to go straight away with the Doom. Can they do it in time? He's already been forced to back to the side. The Fish has blocked them off as well. Cuckoo, he's attempting to stay on top of Miracle. And they get him off in time. We are turns with the focus fire. Cuckoo's got to back up. The Aphonic Shield will keep Miracle more than safe. An ambitious Doom initiation from Cuckoo does not give them any chance killing Miracle. They didn't have to follow up, and that's that sustain and save from Mind Control. It makes it so hard to kill someone, even if they're doomed, unless the entirety of Geekfam can get on top of them.
Yeah, it's what you're forced into, right? Lena can't commit that hard. You're just way too squishy, especially against all these stuns, Enigma. Also, just realize the Baden's talents are kind of unreal, specifically 10 strength at level 10. It's effectively just a free 1,000 gold. Could be part of the reason this hero gets so much play. Yeah, with no Doom now, not really much you can do to try and make moves. This Carl should be finishing up that BKB soon. He's got bots. I'd like to see them try and play a little more split, but how do you play side lanes by yourself against heroes like that? Heroes like Shake or Wind Ranger, Ember, you're always at risk anytime you don't see every single one of these heroes on map.
Fatality.
Points to NIGMA, Aegis for Miracle, Geekfam unable to do anything about that.
Maelstrom finished a little earlier than average. That's to be expected, as this Miracle player is a little better than your typical Redditor.
Top tower is under attack.
Top lane tower. NIGMA will take a further objective. Geekfam still split up. They're deciding to let these towers go, sort of to the same sense that how NIGMA was playing in game one, just prioritizing getting the farm up on the Carl Lina, on the Raven Lifestealer, and make sure that they don't feed away their cores any more than necessarily, that they only turn up to the fights when they themselves feel ready to defend.
I'm just not sure that they're going to have the damage for it, Owen. Both cores forced into these defensive builds. You got a Halberd up on the Lifestealer, Lina with bots and the BKB. They're not able to maximize damage, and as you can see, they're not killing anybody, and that's the big issue they're having right now. Now that he's got an Arcane Rune and Aegis, like, Miracle isn't a real target. Mind Control you can't go for either, and they safely frontline as the rest of the team just waits for an opportunity to pounce. Carl's got to be Lincoln's queued up next, but he might be a bit isolated here. Weeha's on the way.
Doing the best to trade. Now the extra TP's coming back from NIGMA. The jump. Weeha's found the angle on Raven. Raven will not fall, of course, though. He's pretty big on the Lifestealer, level 17. A lot of strength and armor to work with. They'll back out of it, Geekfam. They know that the rest of NIGMA's going to come swarming through the jungle, trying to catch them off on the retreat, so they'll TP back to base. Make sure that they don't lose anyone down here. Maybe, I'll say it, anyone, do try and play it, let go for the walk back. And it will not end in a successful trip back home.
Yeah. This is the benefit of taking map control, right? And you can see they're just cutting across the map, sweeping it. As long as you stay enemy side, the map shrinks for you, and it's so easy. They're already maintaining a presence in the opposite side jungle. Bottom lane looking to push in, and they're gonna find somebody else. Yep, Cuckoo. It's near impossible to play in this position now, and unfortunately, I don't see how Geekfam reestablish map control unless they find some sort of opportunity to find kills, and you can't do that without vision, which you just don't have. You got one ward on the map on the enemy side, sure, but these two, one for each jungle on your side, all it does is provide a bit of a storm warning, but they can still find you. Carl will pick up Kuro. He was all alone down bottom. Just get a nice lane ward down before he falls.
Still, all the pressure on Geekfam to pull together some sort of high ground defense to swing this one around. The control is all the way of NIGMA here, 26 minutes in.
That will be the time Aegis expires indeed, Dubu. Just letting everybody know they know what's up.
I was a bit of fun of that Dubu. He was doing that the other day in the old chat. Yeah, just more than a team player, he's just a player. He wants to help everybody out. Geekfam understandably very, very careful and cautious with their position now.
Yep.
Waiting for the fight to come to them almost.
No real options otherwise. You need a BKB on Cuckoo so he can properly initiate. Only level 13, man. The panel was discussing whether or not this hero is worthy of first phasing. NIGMA trying to prove that it is not, as GH actually even has a level on the enemy offlaner.
I'm just going to make the jump first.
Double damage empowers me.
Zephyr, they'll start things off. Telekinesis back in the open wounds. Miracle goes straight for the backlines with the aggressive remnanting. Linkers will be parked, but the rest of NIGMA's there to back him up. The light pulls them back for now. Another dodge off the light strike array with that side of fist. Miracle's chase will not stop. He's on to Dubu. A stolen aphotic shield will allow Dubu to get back to safety. But NIGMA push Geekfam away from this tower. They could turn and continue to take these outer objectives, as Geekfam just are not prepared to fight them right now.
I love the way they're playing this. Miracle, sort of like an attack dog, nipping at the Geekfam heels, trying to buy time for his supports and allies to catch up. They're not going to overcommit. He's not going to dive into the base. He's just trying to cause some chaos so that they can find a true opening to grab a kill. Maybe look to threaten high ground. Look at the vision they've got, man. 4 wards all deep on the enemy side of the map, 1 per lane, and it's so they're just sweeping. Looking to act as janitors and clean up Geekfam.
Oh, look at that foul. Carl, he'll go for the BKB TP out. They don't have anything through it. Heads up plot from Carl. No hesitation popping that BKB to make sure he can escape.
Never refuse.
Still, it's just for the past half of this game being Geekfam forced around the map. Dubu caught outside of the base. His game continuing to get hurt immensely as he's pretty much got nothing at all on this support call.
Yeah. Stacking up the armor items too. You can see a bad Nari with the Vlads will be AC next. Both damage, amp, and defense. And now Cuckoo next on the menu.
Let's see if Miracle wants to commit. Tries the slight change. Will be not able to quite get the reach though. Down bottom, another raised TP. Raven's out.
It's just so scary. They're getting hunted all over the map. And there's so many wards. NIGMA have almost full vision of these movements. 45 seconds on runes and outposts. Geekfam going to try and get some sort of control top. But look, there's already TP coming in.
Carl, he's sticking around to commit for this. It is only mind control that TP'd over. Where's the rest of them? That's the question. Geekfam, they're pretty much bringing in all of them. Their TPs will now finish, and they're in to try and do something about this. Abandoned Miracle tries to help out a little bit. Borrowed time is popped, but he has been doomed. Mind control still running. The full 5-man of Geekfam will go for this, but this gives a lot of time for NIGMA to get on the line. He's up the cliff. They haven't got vision up there, so mind control, he can hide on the cliff. They cannot see him. They cannot see him. No, NIGMA. He slam dropped down. GH trying to go for Raven, who did get the rage out. So Raven
Double kill.
GH, but the last 3 on Geekfam. Raven's rage will end. We are a Miracle can toy around with him. The angle. Weehart gets nuke by Zephyr, but he can still back off with the win run. He's fine. They are now having to retreat. Raven too strong for them to kill straight up.
Mind control's back though. They got him off the cliff.
Miracle hunting in the trees. Side of Fist will find Zephyr as a 4th will fall. Only Raven able to survive as Geekfam, they went all in to try and kill mind control around that outpost. More than enough time for the rest of NIGMA to sweep across the map and be there to turn the fight around. You can see here 24.9k hero damage done by Miracle thanks to the stats from Gosu AI. He is just, he's hitting, he's hurting, and there's nothing on Geekfam that can reliably get as much damage done as he can in these fights.
And I love it. There's no way they intended, much like Arteezy, to put an ally on the cliff there. But unlike Artor, it worked. Yeah, it's actually a good place to be. I'm sure MC probably panicked for a second. They're like, oh wait, this is cool. I'm just gonna hang out here. I'm doomed, can't do anything. Might as well survey the battlefield, maybe sip my Mai Tai. GH looking to hunt down Carl. Look, they're just everywhere, man. Already bottom.
He does want to chase this. He's going to have Wimrun in a second to close the gap. The focus fire is on Carl. Carl himself, obviously very speedy, fishes out another BKB popped by Cuckoo. They still retreat. Dubu will be the one to pay the price by the looks of it as he's shackled up. Billincade buys him a little bit of time. The side of Fist actually won't be enough to get him. Random tip. Miracle is chasing for this, committing up the high ground, and it does do the job. Dubu is dead. Fishing out, catching Carl. His BKB has already been used. He's got nothing to save himself. As Miracle now godlike with that double kill, they'll continue to slaughter Geekfam inside of their own base. 3 dead. It's now 29-14, 10k lead. This game 2 is getting entirely out of hand for Geekfam.
Man, the spatial awareness of the NIGMA lineup is absolutely unreal. You've got 3 heroes hunting for kills, whereas MC, he's got the wherewithal to chill in the back, ensure that he's actually able to save We there with just a timely shield out, and then they find kills inside the base. It's just everything working together. Aura's online now. BKB finished on Miracle, and AC Shadow. Like, oh my god, yeah, of course we're going high ground now. Talk about the timing. You got 3 heroes that just finished huge items.
To start falling as well. Carl not wanting to use his buyback. He's set for 20. He's holding on to it. He'll let the mid-brags go. NIGMA just continuing to cement this lead, and they can taste that grand finals getting closer and closer with every minute here in this game 2.
Shrine immediately after. It's a repeat of that first game. Roshan soon spawning. Don't really see how Geekfam get back into this, Owen. It is looking bleak. All started with that one dunk. Feels like, once again, it was that one play, right? NIGMA just need that single opportunity, and they can take that and make it a W. It's what makes them such a great team and why it's so hard to play up against them. Because, you know, some teams you can afford to make a couple mistakes against, right? This is a squad. If you make just one critical error, you're probably going to lose the game. so impressive that RNG were able to take them down because they played a game where they had to take the aggressive actions all game. They had to maintain a lead from the laning phase on, and they were able to do so. In fact, they ended the game with like 45 kills in less than 30 minutes. And at this rate, looks like we'll be seeing a rematch in the grand final.
Well, here we have it, Roche. Just being taken by the two of them whilst the rest of NIGMA hover around the pit. Ready for any movement of Geekfam, but Geekfam, they know they can't come out here and fight. They're letting this one go. Their best interest is to just try and hope and hold for that high ground defense. Not something that's going to be easy, but it's pretty much the only way that they can start to potentially swing this one around with how far NIGMA is ahead right now.
And it's just, the issue mainly is that they can't protect their supports. Miracle just dives into the back line, gets on top of Dubu, then turns for Zephyr. Rest of his team effectively can just run around in circles, posing a distraction. Once you clean up the supports, then you turn to the course. Nobody on NIGMA's ever threatened because you've got the Abaddon of MC waiting to save.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Here they come.
My Dire's bottom tower is taking a beating.
A deep grab instantly put to a stop. The Storm shield keeps him safe. Carl from the left side. Kuro now turned upon. Kuroki will be punished for that commitment. But back down, NIGMA may settle back for a little bit.
A little over-aggressive there, Kuro. Also probably didn't recognize that the shield was stolen, so I said you don't have any disable cleansing, but if Rubik grabs that, then obviously you'll be able to remove any sort of stun. And as you said, yeah, time to play a little more cautious. You don't need to dive in. It's really Miracle that's got to be the one initiating and engaging, especially when he has this Aegis. Then Kuro can look to pounce, but I assume he won't make that mistake again. This team rarely blunders the same way twice.
Carl getting out, starting to reclaim some outposts and at least set up if they can hold for sort of like the next 4 minutes, force NIGMA to maybe consider taking back control of the side. But GH, he's scouting this out. He's going to commit straight away with the slam. He's trying for the setup on his own. There's the backup for Geekfam as GH. Has he got any backup in itself? The TPs are coming in, but they're not here in time. GH will be punished as he was very ambitious there. Maybe NIGMA can still get something going. But Geekfam, they're going to look to continue their power as Kuro is falling as well. 2 kills for Geekfam. Jump forward. They're not done yet, Geekfam. Light strike away follow-ups onto mind control. Raven's chasing him down. The slot for their balloons. Bones will be popped. But Geekfam, they're chasing. Carl slides in. Shackle shot will be blocked. He can't quite get any connection onto it.
Oh, he got tier 3 already. But as you said, Geekfam showing signs of life. Not out of this yet. They get a tier 2, 2 kills. And who cares about one more tier 3? You've already lost Rex.
For this. He's not gonna push his luck.
Wow, it's only a 10k lead for NIGMA, and Aegis is still active.
Visibility.
You want to utilize it and try and get some more objectives here. I like Miracle. He's just staying on the enemy side of the map, trying to get that level 25 up and running ASAP. He's good find too, bro.
He's got Raven there with the shackle shot for the sensor. Has he got the damage before the shackle? MC hurts not Raven. Still alive, he could not armlet top his way through that one. Raven dying solo to catch up. Watch Miracle just dismantled the 2 supports on the back lines by himself.
That's a 2-on-5, and they end up with 3 kills. The rest of the team's just farming lanes.
Radiant's top barracks are
This
under
is
attack.
just when it looks like Geekfam might be back in it. Oh no, you Carl.
Trying to push the lane out. And that's now 4 heroes out of the game for Geekfam. Carl, again, this game not saving up the money. He's not very money conscious despite his 250 dollars short of the buyback. He's dead for 70 seconds.
Let's listen to that group stage match against Fighting Pandas. You go toe-to-toe for so long, you battle it out, and all of a sudden one error turns into what feels like a game-winning advantage, and Liquid claim a second set of racks and moves down towards bottom. Is there buyback on Leo?
He's not got the gold. He's just going to have to sit and watch and hope that the rest of the 4 members of his team can do something phenomenal. They do get the jump on. That's a great start. And now Raven, he's on to GH. This is the dream that Carl was hoping for. Watching here from the sideline, they lose Dubu, but making that quick play to kill Weehaw, to kill GH, it's something.
Love that he immediately buys back. He's got 30 second window. There's no Lina.
But with great
no combo ultimate, and it's going to be a 5-1-4 inside the base. They get this Rex, they get Megas, and almost certainly the game. NIGMA's push for the win.
See what Geekfam can do. But at the same time, there's that window of opportunity. If we are dies again, or GH even at that matter, who knows? We'll see. But Cuckoo steps up, allows them to shackle shot connected to Raven. They'll look to mind control. Weehart looking to commit with the focus fire. The BKB, but Cuckoo, he's out of range. He's under the invis. Weehart won't be able to kill him up. They'll go back towards the objectives, NIGMA, and they will claim them. The full sets of racks are all gone. It is Mega Creeps out for NIGMA. How can Geekfam punish them now? They look to lead it on Miracle, but Remnant's prepared. He's out of there. And there the jump. Collapses back in onto Raven. Another use of the Aphotic Shield. Zephyr consistently having it stolen and prepared for all these sort of plays will allow Raven to live. But NIGMA definitely inching their way closer and closer to potentially closing this one down.
Yep, now it's, if we learned any lessons from the previous day, it's that all games are losable if your cores have no buybacks. So even though they've got Megas claimed, NIGMA just gonna chill, exit the base. No need to get frisky here. You've already almost certainly secured this one. And outposts come active in about 20 seconds more.
Miracle. Cuckoo. He's got the stun. They've got the Linker spot, lifting him up. Mind control's coming over. They try and help save him out. Miracle gets the BKB and the Raven out in time. They go towards Mind. Quick jump inside of Cuckoo here with the invest, but NIGMA's now turned up in numbers. Cuckoo, he's got to run. BKB's popped by both him and Kyle as they'll back away. Miracle jumps in speedily with that Aghanim's Remnant. Zephyr is shut down. There's no Rubik. The Laguna's thrown out onto Mind Control, but Mind Control incredibly beefy. Raven still trying to fight them here. All of that thrown down by Dubu. Miracle stunned up. He puts the Remnant out, but he's dead. They've lost the Ember. Miracle's gone for 100 and so's we are. 90 seconds dead on both at the key call. The lift up, the slam down. Mind Control wiped out as well. Geekfam, they get all three at the cause of NIGMA. What can they do now? Cuckoo may not even be done. He's trying to chase on here. GH with his own invis should be fine though. Cuckoo not with the detection on the front. GH even turning eyeing this up. He said, is that what I've got? An echo. There's a few creeps, but of course not quite the damage to blow up Batum himself. But the game will go on. Geekfam, see another day for now. It's a decent goal swing still. Obviously the world against them with the Mega Creeps out, constantly pushing in those waves. Yeah, but definitely showing they still have some signs of life, Geekfam.
For sure, they need a couple more of those, for sure. The problem is when you're playing up against Megas is, yeah, you got all those kills, but there were 3 lanes in their base. So you're using these kill timers to effectively do nothing more than push out lanes. And, you know, at the moment you step away, they're going to be coming straight back for your base because the creeps are just so damn strong. And yeah, Maelstrom going to be the choice for Carl. You just need more wave clear. You got to get these creeps out of base if you're going to win this game.
Cuckoo. Now, does he want to try for this one on his own? Doesn't look like him. I mean, there's still 3 dead for 20 seconds. Okay, with Raven, that's certainly Will Kuro just minding his own business. He's going to get a quick trip to the grave. That's Geekfam. Very impressive, and this is where we have seen Geekfam excel in the past. When they are behind, when you think it's all over, Geekfam will certainly be there to argue their case. And they're holding on. They're holding on here in this all-important game 2.
The win probability bottomed out at near 99.9%, but they've bought back a few more percentage points thanks to that fight. They need more kills, though, specifically more mistakes from NIGMA. They found the answer to win this game, however, which is kill we, right? You see Miracle is doing a great job, head on a swivel, constantly just looking for either Dubu or Zephyr. When he sees him, boom, zip on him, and if they don't have a glimmer of force, they almost certainly go down just to his damage alone. But we doesn't have that same maneuverability. You can get on top of him. Raven is effectively four-shotting him.
Now, Raven's done an excellent job in the way he's been taking these fights. Not necessarily the cleanest of his carrier performances, but it's been a very hard game for him to perform to that point. Still 6-3-8, and the last few fights, he's done a fantastic job of getting in and out. Miracle, they're on top of him. He's straight up dead. They get the Ember, can they get the Miracle buying back. He really wants to slow him down with the Remnants around. Miracle to chase. He's on towards Raven, but Raven turns. He gets the bash up. Miracle having to bot the BKB. He kills the win range. He turns down a Miracle. The BKB's about to roll. The match is ever. Who's got the Lancer launch Raven? It doesn't matter. The stolen shield again. Raven granted that second chance to clean things up. Open with in silence. Miracle waiting at the side, but Cuckoo's always there. He's there in the trees. He's ready if Raven needs him. Raven starts to poke back at mind control. NIGMA, they're kind of worried. They're kind of scared. They know Raven can kill them. The bashes, mind control. He's dead as well. Raven claims the life of another Miracle. He's trying to go in. Raven hesitating. Jumps into Cuckoo. Cuckoo goes for the Seattle play, but the sentry's down. They see Cuckoo. They come up the top of Raven. He's down. Can he get more? Miracle if he gets the bash, Raven. If it's changed, Raven, he's still got the rage. He's baiting this out. He'll go for the rage. He'll go for the TP away. He'll calm it down for now.
Holy shit. That was left it. People buy that in this game. You should have more damage. Geekfam, they've got to deal with the creeps, right? Carl actually had to stay there because there's all these waves constantly pushing into him, but the gold lead's evaporated. Even with the
It's back to Weaver on the go.
Not out of this yet.
Not the cleanest of close-up by far by NIGMA. They're slipping up in these fights. Some of these moves. Raven, the pressure, the world is against it, but he's keeping his cool. Look at the damage dealt. This Lifestealer being the absolute boss that he needs to be to give Geekfam that chance to push this series to a third game.
And he's got the Abyssal Blink now, a new blink mechanic, right? He's got a halberd to cancel any Lincolns. If he just jumps on top of Wee, any sort of follow-up, that's an immediate kill on the Wind Ranger. It's been 3 consecutive fights now. Wee's just exploded. Shiva's now for Miracle to try to be able to go toe-to-toe, but no one's really going to be able to handle this Lifestealer in a man fight. It's just not possible. Way too much physical damage. And it does simplify. Geekfam, it's a relatively simple game from here on out. Defend the Ancient. You're up against an Aegis now. No reason to leave base. You got Megas constantly pushing in. Expect to see them just sit and wait, daring NIGMA to go try and finish this game.
Raven, in terms of gearing up after that, he's queued up the moonshot. It'll take him a bit of time. He's going to want to try and hold on to the buyback. We can see there, the item is a little bit slower for Miracle this time round. Understandable with the way that he wanted to itemize beforehand. Yes. And still, though, even getting at the slower point compared to average, he's still very, very mobile across the fights, but that hasn't seemed to matter most of the times when Miracle gets in close, because they can't kill Raven off in time. Raven, he always gets the chance to turn, get that one hit, that one bash, and suddenly that could trip up Miracle enough to allow the rest of Geekfam to kill off the Ember.
It's the MKB, because typically Wind Ranger always is able to deal with the Lifestealer, because you just pop your Wind Run and channel Ultimate. But at this point, Raven's doing so much damage, and thanks to the MKB, Weeha is actually the one afraid for his life. If he can't deal with them, who's supposed to? Miracle can't land too many stuns. An 8-second duration range now, keep in mind. He does have that level 25 talent. So 50% of the time, Raven's going to be able to cover himself with spell immunity. And unfortunately, this game, NIGMA have absolutely nothing with the exception of that lasso to deal with spell immunity. And it is all of a sudden 8k gold because they claim some bounty runes.
Oh, Cuckoo. Being a little sneaky here.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Chilling out in the middle lane. One's going to separate from the rest of their team, though, so unlikely to find a catch. As NIGMA, they're keeping together, running it down mid. They're ready to try once more to close this one up. Get this push on, the final tier 4 falling low.
Shaved in searing heat.
Cool start to push Cuckoo. He's looking for the leader, Cuckoo. He gets the dude's down on GH. He's got it. We are cutting with a focus fire. Raven, he needs help. He needs it out the board. Lights down. Shackle shot will not connect. Raven, he turned. Upwards on the back. Jolly started to heal back up to the bar attack. Point straight away to remove the upwards. So he heals. Miracle's on him. Raven's extremely hit with the rampage. The turn. Raven's still alive. As 2 bylights have to be utilized by NIGMA. Kill 4. Raven grew up with the lasso. Cuckoo is dead without buyback. NIGMA, they want to finish it. They brought back on GH and we are to really push this one to the end. The shackle, not to latch. Raven's he's ready to come back out and help out his team. They've lost him and do it right back. Raven in with the Abyssal. He's off to Weave and the missed Sky Hill. The falls back. Weeha separated and saved. But they're so scared of this Lifestealer NIGMA.
Radiant's Ancient is
They
under
brought back
attack.
3 heroes, NIGMA. They have to end it right now. The stun, Miracle Linkers is part. Raven is out. Blade Gun is there for Raven. He's trying to run it back. We're doing the back from Raven. Can he kill Miracle? He's dead with the Aegis. Fortification used by Geekfam. They're trying. Can they do it? NIGMA wants the game. Micro drop, pass, bar time. They're hitting the Aegis. They're closing. NIGMA will finally be able to close up this game too. And with that, take the series 2-0 against Geekfam. And they are going onwards to the grand finals to face against RNG for that spot at the major.
What a game, man. That's going all in. You've got your buybacks, a crazy initiation from Cuckoo, but unfortunately, they kill only heroes that can immediately come right back into the fight. The pressure, the